Richician!
Hey YouTube, Richician84 here, and I thought I'd do a pretty unique video. Now, there have been videos where I've complained about cards and decks that I hate and the fact that they get used against me. But what I thought I'd do is a top 12 video on decks that people hate me using. You know, try and understand why they would hate those decks. And yes, I said top 12 because I couldn't narrow it down to 10 or 5. Now, the hatred for most of these decks I can understand, others I question, and some where I think the hate is unfair and unjustified, especially the top 2. We'll get to that. So yeah, let's just get right into it, starting with number 12, Galaxy Photons. Now, one person has expressed hatred for Galaxy Photons, and I can't remember exactly the reason why, which is why it's at the bottom. And if I remember correctly, it was on the lines of it does too much special summoning or something similar, but like, I kind of question this because there are lots and lots of decks that do too much special summoning. You know, it's not just Galaxy Photons. I can sort of guess why someone would hate Galaxy Photons, simply because you've got a Galaxy-Eyes Photon Lord to stop monster effects. You have Afterglow to just end games too easily with Prime or Neo Prime. Negate spells with Hope Harbinger, or negate everything with Cyber Dragon Infinity. Now, I of course don't play Hope Harbinger or Infinity in my Galaxy Photon deck, or anything for that matter, because they're two of my top 4 most hated Xyz monsters in the game. Like, I hate them so much that I would never ever play them myself. Yeah, I kind of hate having to resort to using Photon Lord, but too many situations just call for it, and like, I find there's a lot of situations where I can take an opportunity to win the duel with Afterglow, like, but I'm not playing an OTK deck, or at least I like to think that I'm not, since I'm really against those. But yeah, it just gets so boring just doing those things. Like, I mean, I do try and do something else, but just too many situations just call for Photon Lord Prime and Neo Prime. In fact, if it's any consolation, that's why I actually got bored of playing the deck. Yeah, it's just not fun anymore, and I'm hardly ever using Galaxy-Eyes Photon Dragon itself, or Neo Galaxy-Eyes Photon Dragon. Galaxy-Eyes Photon Dragon, of course, being one of my favourite dragons and boss monsters ever. Of course, that being said, I'm going to play it in the Ultimate Championship later on this year regardless, but yeah, other than that, it's just boring to play nowadays, which is a shame because, while it is still one of my favourite decks of all time, I just want to do something else with it. So, I guess I can mainly understand the hate for it. Number 11, Rockets. I should have actually taken cards from each archetype before doing this. I just thought, oh well. Yeah, there's one person I know seems to hate rockets for some reason, and I don't really understand why. Like, what's wrong with rockets? Like, all it is just a link spam deck that uses the rocket monsters themselves to build up to the borrowed links, the topologic links, and even the nightmare links if need be. Like, I mean, that's all it is, and that's what made it one of my favourite Reigns archetypes. Like, it doesn't really do anything. Actually, no, it doesn't even do anything to stop you from playing. Like, I mean, the only card in the archetype that would do things that don't let you play is Borrowload Savage Dragon. Like, that's literally it. Which, of course, is not just my second most hated synchro monster in the game, but it's also among my top 10 hated cards in the entire game overall. Hence why I don't play it myself, not just in Rockets, but anything. That's how much I hate it and refuse to play it. Now it's at this spot because no reason was given for this hate, and yeah, this is one where I kind of question the hate and think it's unfair and unjustified, and I can't help but wonder if this person is getting confused with Dragon Link. I mean, I know that deck plays Striker Dragon, Boot Sector Launch, and maybe Rocket Tracer, but even so, that is a completely different deck. Something that I wouldn't play myself personally. Whereas meanwhile, I'm just playing a pure Rocket deck, sticking to the theme of the archetype. Like, I'm not mixing it with any other archetypes. Just saying. Right, I have cards to show now. So number 10, Earthbound Immortals. Yeah, I know. I question the hatred for Earthbound Immortals. And the person who hated on them said he hates them because they can't be attacked and can attack directly. But I'm just thinking, well, so what? I mean, like, it's a god card archetype. They have to have a strong effect of some kind. Within reason, of course, as long as it doesn't do something that doesn't let you play. But still, there are plenty of ways to deal with the Earthbounds, like, without attacking them. Getting rid of the field spell, for instance, because remember, they can't survive on the field without a field spell. That's their biggest weakness. The other one being, depending on the build, is that it's a slow, inconsistent deck. Like, I mean, this has to be one of my absolute weakest decks. And yet it gets hate, and sometimes when I use them in a royal, I get picked on. Like, I, I, I just don't understand. Uh, yeah, like I said, I question this and think the hate is unfair and unjustified due to the fact that they're just so easy to deal with. Number 9. Wait, was that number 9? Yeah, number 9, vampires. Yeah, also kind of random, I know, but there is someone I know who has expressed hatred for them. Like, he hasn't said why specifically, but I get the impression that he doesn't like it when I use Vampire Lord or Vampire Duke to send cards from his deck to the graveyard. I mean, yeah, I can understand that, but it's not the only thing I do with my vampire deck. You know, there's plenty of other things I can do with the deck. And as for sending cards, like, it's not like I'm playing a deck out deck. Yeah, because like I said, in the last video I uploaded to Team Sorcerers, like, I hate deck out decks, and I think using them to deck the opponent out is cheap and dirty. Whereas with vampires, even though Lord and Duke do send cards from deck to the grave, it's not like I'm using a deck out strategy. Like, I don't think there's any way that vampires could deck someone out. Plus, it's not like I get to choose exactly which spell, trap, or monster card I'm sending. You know, I can't just say, like, spell card Book of Life, for example. Like, because otherwise that really would make them unfair. So, I don't know. On one hand, I can kind of understand, but on the other, I think the hate for vampires is kind of unfair. Number 8, Utopia. Now, the same person who expressed hatred for vampires also seems to hate Utopia, purely because Utopia the Lightning exists, although he didn't seem to like it when I used Dragonic Utopia Ray as well, but I will say that even though Utopia the Lightning is my favourite Xyz monster, like, I can understand that it's annoying being on the receiving end of lightning, but going for lightning isn't the only thing I do with the deck. It's not a one-card strategy. Like, there are plenty of other things I can do with the deck. Like, use the rank-up spells to go into Utopia's other forms. I mean, yeah, I tend to go for, what's the name of the rank 12? Damn, I forgot off the top of my head, but it's the one where you detach 2 materials to special summon a number monster, and then go into Leo, and then use that to equip Pegasus to it and have 2 monster negates. I mean, it's effective, and sometimes I don't really like doing that, but too many situations just call for it. I mean, I do try and do different things with the deck, like go into the old-fashioned number C forms. Maybe not the original Utopia Ray. I mean, I would like to continue playing it, but I don't have the room for it anymore. Whereas otherwise, I just like having fun with, you know, Ray V and Ray Victory, and even sealing face-up cards with rank-up magic Numeron Force. Like, Another card which people don't seem to like me using, which, yeah, I do understand, but yeah, it's not like continuously sealing off face-up cards. Like, I mean, Numeron Force is great, but not that great. Um, uh, um, I mean, I guess it's understandable, um, but I just don't know if I agree with hating it just because of lightning. Um, Now, I know there are builds out there that also use the rank 12 to bring out Hope Harbinger, but like I said earlier, I don't play Hope Harbinger, and I never will, because it's one of my most hated Xyz monsters. Like, it just annoys me when it's played in, like, Utopia, Blue Eyes, and uh, decks that can make rank 8s that are not Galaxy Photons, because, like, at that point, like, you're not even playing Utopia or whatever, you're just playing Hope Harbinger Stun. Yeah, Hope Harbinger just infuriates me, but yeah, that's all there is to say about it. Number 7, Neospatians. Yeah, I'm kind of getting sick and tired of the Neospatian hate. Like, not specifically mine, but I like, one reason I do kind of get, because well, they have the option of Neos Fusion, and yeah, there are players who just use it as an excuse to play Rainbow Neos and Rainbow Dragon, like, including me. And I guess they get annoyed with the protection effect of Neos Fusion and Rainbow Neos, but, like, it's not the only thing the deck does. Like, there are other things this deck can do, like use the original fusions, for instance. And then there's the fact that like, just people hate their very existence and complain that they replaced the original elemental heroes in the GX anime. Yeah, people keep saying, "Oh, Jaden doesn't play as original heroes anymore. He replaced them with this crap." Yeah, that's another thing. There are people who call them crap, which I really don't like, as it's one of my generalised pet peeves, like people calling cards, decks and players bad, because I still say that there's no such thing as a bad card, or a bad deck, or a bad player. But yeah, I think saying they replaced the original elemental heroes in the anime is unfair, because, like, Jaden does still play his original heroes, he just plays Neos and the Neospatians alongside them. Of course, whenever I say that, they say, "Yeah, but he doesn't use the original ones that much." Of course he does. Like, there have been many duels where he used the originals more than the Neospatians. Like, for instance, take the duel where Jaden played against Bob Banter, you know, the guy with the quiz show deck. Like, yeah, he mostly used his original heroes and only played one Neospatian, which was Hummingbird. Just one. He didn't use any of the others, or Neos, or any of the contact fusions. And also, remember the duel against Prince Ogen? Like, Jaden didn't even use Neos or the Neospatians at all in that duel. Like, he used Sparkman, Flame Wingman, Shining Flare Wingman, and Change of Hero Reflector Ray to bring him to victory. So, yeah, that duel alone proves that he didn't abandon his original heroes, and and if that doesn't prove it, then I don't know what will. Now, even though I do like the original Elemental heroes more than the Neo-Spacians, I just think the Neo-Spacian hate is really unfair and unjustified, and I wish it would just stop. Number 6, Blackwings. Now, on one hand, I would say, what's wrong with Blackwings? It's just a synchro spam deck. But I guess there are reasons that I do kind of understand. I mean, there are builds designed to OTK, and use negates, like, again, Borreload Savage Dragon, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, which, I kind of hate, and again, like, they're not even using Blackwings to win, they're just using degenerate monsters from other archetypes. Like, I've even seen builds that run Evil Swarm Nightmare, Phantom Knight's Rusty Bardetian Fogblade, along with Abyss and Savage, and I'm like, how is this Blackwings? Not that I hate Phantom Knights or Evil Swarm Nightmare, but still. But my deck, of course, hardly ever plays anything from other archetypes, except, like, Wise Strix and Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend. That's it. Otherwise, like, my Blackwing deck is pure, absolutely pure, and Wise Strix just complements the deck, because that makes sense to play it, and Scarlight is one of the best generic level 8s in the game, and in that deck I just find it more useful than any of the others. But other than that, I stay true to the theme, whereas others might hate it simply because Blackwing Full Armor Master exists. Now, I can understand that. I mean, Full Armor Master is annoying, and it is annoying being on the receiving end of it. Like, I get that, really, I do understand that, but it's not the only thing us Blackwing players do, like summoning that card. Like, there are plenty of other things Blackwing players do, like have some fun with Raikuri and Chidori. Like, I myself still enjoy playing the original Armor Master, because it's my favourite Blackwing. Like I said before, to me it's the Dark Magician and the Neos of my Blackwing deck. I know others don't play it, but I still do. It just wouldn't feel right not to play the original Blackwing Synchro Monster. But going back to Full Armor Master, like, again, I know it's annoying being on the receiving end of it, but it's not even that difficult to deal with. Like, you kaiju it or destroy it in battle. Like, it's really not that hard. I mean, yes, there's no guarantee you'll see the outs, but at least there are outs, and monsters that are unaffected by card effects are a lot easier to deal with than a negate. Like, despite Full Armor Master being on the field and having the option of taking control of monsters with wedge counters or destroying them, like, I'm not even doing anything to stop you from playing the game. Like, and I mean, Ultimate Falcon is a bit worse, but yeah, it's just like I said, Full Armor Master's just so easy to deal with, and I mean, so I do get the hate, but like at the same time, it's kind of unfair due to the fact that I'm still not doing anything to stop you from playing. Like, I'm just saying. Number 5, Destiny Heroes. Okay, any hate for Destiny Heroes, like, I do understand. You know, it's because this card, Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, exists. And yeah, I do actually feel like that Destiny Heroes have just basically become DPE deck, and obviously when Verte Anaconda was legal, it got played in pretty much everything, and yeah, it is annoying being on the receiving end of DP, like, I understand that. I mean, it's a good cause that is a big help for the deck, but if it's any consolation, that's basically why I got bored of playing Destiny Heroes. Like, I just want to do something else with the deck other than just bring out DP and just get easy wins because of him. I mean, that's not really fun. Like, Destiny Heroes just aren't really the same anymore. Now, even though I don't hate DP, at the same time, like, I just think creating this card was a mistake. Like, people have been even rage quitting Master Duel because of this card. I don't really have anything else to add, really. I mean, I prefer to play it in its original deck, and I mean, I do like having the option of playing it in my Dark Magician and Fusion Friends deck, but I don't even go into him that much when I play that deck. I think I've only summoned it twice, and that was it, really. Yeah, I think DP just gave Destiny Heroes a bad name. So, yeah, again, like I said, the hate, I do understand fully. Number 4, Raid Raptors. Now, to be fair, although it is one of my favourite Arc 5 decks, like, it's another deck that I just got bored of playing. I mean, and the hate for Raid Raptors, I do understand. It's simply because Ultimate Falcon exists, and, you know, again, I do understand that, but at the same time, like, in the defense of Raid Raptor players, going for Ultimate Falcon isn't the only thing we do. Like, there are plenty of other things that Raid Raptors can do, like have some fun with Arc Rebellion Xyz Dragon and gain a load of attack points and attack over big threats. Whereas I personally like to have some fun with this card, my favourite Raid Raptor, Revolution Falcon. In fact, I prefer to win my duels with this card more than anything else in the deck. Or if not him, then the upgraded form, Revolution Falcon Air Raid. But other than that, I feel like Raid Raptors have got a bit too competitive, and it can take a little while to set up an impressive board, which is just boring to do. I mean, it's still one of my favourite decks of all time, but at the same time, like, it can just get boring doing the same things over and over again. But going back to Ultimate Falcon, even though, like, it's going for Ultimate Falcon isn't the only thing Raid Raptors do, like, I mean, I do try not to resort to him, but too many situations just call for it. But mind you, there have been times where I haven't even summoned Ultimate Falcon at all. There's just been a lot of times where it's been necessary, unfortunately. I mean, yes, it is annoying that it's unaffected by card effects, and yeah, the effect where it either lowers the attack points of face-up monsters or inflicts 1,000 points of damage is annoying. Like, I get that, I do understand that, but it's not even that hard to overcome. Like, again, you just kaiju it or destroy it in battle with a stronger monster, like Utopia the Lightning, for instance. Like, cards like Ultimate Falcon are why cards like Utopia the Lightning exists. And, to be fair, it's not like Ultimate Falcon is a negate. I mean, if it was, then it really would have been degenerate and unfair and should have been banned a long time ago. But he doesn't have a negation effect, and like, despite Ultimate Falcon existing, like, again, if I have him out, I'm not even doing anything to stop you from being able to play. Like, even one of the people who expressed hate towards Raid Raptors said that it's worse than Infinity, which I don't agree with at all. Like Cyber Dragon Infinity and any other monster in the game that negates everything is so much worse than Ultimate Falcon and a lot harder to deal with. Like, Ultimate Falcon is easy to overcome, and so is Full Armor Master. Negates, like Infinity and Dragoon, are not. Especially if there's multiple negates on the field. I mean, I myself would much rather be on the receiving end of Ultimate Falcon or Full Armor Master than a monster that negates everything any day. Because at least I have a better chance of doing something and fighting back against monsters that are unaffected by card effects. What else was I going to say about it? Oh, I can't remember, but yeah, I'm just saying, I mean, now, while I do understand the hate for Raid Raptors and Ultimate Falcon, at the same time, like, I don't know if it's fair and justified. I mean, we're all entitled to our own opinions, but, I'm just saying, like, there are far worse decks and cards in the game than Raid Raptors and Ultimate Falcon. Number 3, Exodia. Okay, this I do understand. Exodia is a troll deck, right? And yeah, nobody likes troll decks except players who play them. But for me, Exodia and Destiny board are the only troll decks that I genuinely do like. I mean, this isn't about Destiny board, of course. Like, I've always liked Exodia. I mean, Exodia is technically an old school boss monster. That's why I like it so much. And, you know, Storly Bird and Storly Deckout decks are so much worse than Exodia and a lot harder to deal with. Meanwhile, Exodia really isn't that difficult to beat. Like, there's just so many ways to just counter it too easily, and it actually takes skill to play, unlike burn and deck out decks. I mean, I really don't know why anyone would prefer a Storly burn deck over Exodia. Like, I question this logic. Now, Exodia FTK decks, you know, the hatred for that sort of deck, I do understand, because, like, it's an FTK deck. FTK decks are toxic and shouldn't exist. Nobody likes them. But, like, I'm not even playing an FTK variant. Mine is a simple, old-fashioned build. You know, that uses Emissary of the Afterlife, Sangan, and Witch of the Black Forest to search out all the pieces, while stalling behind Messenger of Peace, Wabaku, and Threatening Roar. Like, I'm not even playing any fancy builds like Heart of the Underdog or anything that runs Exodia Incarnate. You know, the one that's unaffected by card effects and you use it with Obliterate. I mean, I could play that if I want to, but I don't know, it seems a bit too complex. Like, I prefer the old ways of doing things. I mean, it may not be a great build, but it's what I prefer, and that's just it, though. Like, I'm not even playing what you consider a good build of Exodia. Like, there's just so many ways it can easily be beaten. Like, unlike Storly burn decks, like, they're just harder to beat. So, yeah, while I do kind of understand the hate for Exodia, again, at the same time, I think it's unfair and unjustified, because unlike burn and deck out decks, Exodia's tame and really not that bad. Yeah, I'm just saying. Okay, just so you know, from this point onwards, there might be ranting. Number 2, Dark Magician. Yeah, shock horror, Dark Magician isn't number 1 on a list. Now, quite a few people have expressed hate for my Dark Magician deck, and, like, I really don't get why. Not fully, anyway. Like, what is people's beef with my favourite card and favourite deck? Like, like, I'm just so sick and tired of Dark Magician hate of any kind. Like, it was already bad enough, like, back in the day when competitive players would call him crap. And there's also been the odd occasion where opponents have even banished Dark Magician, which I swear they only do just to piss me off. Like, doesn't matter if it's with D.D. Crow, Bottomless, D Prison, Book of Life, Bestials, like, whatever. Like, it's just really infuriating, and I don't like it when my opponent uses cards that stop me from being able to play him, which is also something I talked about in the last video I did on the Team Sorcerers channel. I mean, even though I'd rather Dark Magician was banished than turned against me, it's still something I don't tolerate at all. Like, I don't even like doing it myself when I use things like Allure of Darkness or whatever, but I never do it myself unless I have to. But yeah, even when Dark Magician started getting support in more recent years, he still gets hate. There are people who even complain that he keeps getting too much support. Now, while I do agree that he does get too much support, I'm just sick of hearing it. But still, like I said, I agree that Dark Magician gets too much support and that other archetypes do deserve it. Right? And that's coming from me. But, you know, Dark Magician is one of the faces of Yu-Gi-Oh! And has been since the game began. Like, he's gonna get support whether we like it and want it or not. But of course, what annoys me as well is, like, just hate that Dark Magician gets anyway. Like, people like just give me shit for hating Dragoon and refusing to play him, and they tell me to play him, which, like I said, I'm really sick and tired of. Like, it's just Dragoon this, Dragoon that. Oh, Dragoon's amazing. It's easy to beat. Bullshit. Like, I'm just sick of hearing it and don't want to hear it anymore. Yeah, I get hate because, like, even opponents sometimes assume that I'm playing Dragoon, Ash, and Floodgates, like Magician's Right Hand and Secret Village, but like, I don't even play any of those cards because, like, that's not my way of dueling. Mine's a casual build, like, unlike anyone who's just playing Dragoon deck. You know? See, unlike Dark Magician players playing Dragoon deck, mine is fair and balanced. And I'm not doing anything to stop you from being able to play. But even regardless of whether I'm playing Dragoon, Ash, Floodgates or not, the deck still gets hate, and people complain about things that I do with it. Like use Circle, but, like, I only ever use Circle to banish back row, though. I won't use it on a monster unless I have to. Like, if I can't get rid of that monster any other way, or if I can win the duel by doing so. There's even been a complaint about Dark Magician the Dragon Knight, you know, used with Circle and Eternal Soul, and now I do understand that it's annoying and, like, it is infuriating being on the receiving end of that field. You know, I get it. I understand that. Like, I've been on the receiving end of it too, so I can understand the problem from your point of view. Like, really, I do. But, it's not impossible to overcome. I mean, yeah, it's not easy, but, there is a way to do it. Like, send everything to the grave with Zeus, for instance. Like, or use an effect that use a non-targeting bounce or banish effect, for instance, like topologic Trisbana, for instance, or alternatively, the simplest way, guide you the Dragonite, destroy it in battle, and when I try and revive the Dragonite from the grave with Eternal Soul, chain MST or Twin Twisters or Cosmic Cyclone to get rid of the Eternal Soul. Or if you really want to be that guy, use Crow or Called by the Grave to banish the Dragon Knight. So, there are ways to get round it. I mean, yeah, it's not that easy, but I promise you with all my heart, it can be done. It can be overcome. But even so, like, the setup of Dragon Knight, Eternal Soul, and Circle isn't even the only thing I do with my Dark Magician deck. There are plenty of other things I can do with the deck. Just to, try and keep things fresh and make it all about Dark Magician himself rather than other things like the fusions, or what have you. But and like I keep saying, like, I can't even bring Dark Magician the Dragon Knight out that consistently, no matter how many ways I have to do it. Like, there's duels where I can't even bring it out at all because I just don't see the cards when I need them. But yeah, I know there are certain people who don't like Dark Magician the Dragon Knight, but the thing is, I need Dark Magician Knights to protect my back row, mainly Eternal Soul, otherwise opponents will just take advantage of its stupid weakness. But even so, like, regardless of what I'm doing with my Dark Magician deck and how I play it, I'm not even doing anything to stop you from being able to play. Like, it's not like I'm playing Dragoon deck, as, like, my Dark Magician deck is just fair and balanced. And yeah, I mean, while I do kind of understand the hate, at the same time, I really do think it's just unfair and unjustified, and I'm just sick and tired of Dark Magician hate of any kind. And finally, in at number 1, the deck I have that gets the most hate is Rainbow Neos. Yeah, I'd say like 4 or 5 people at least have expressed hate for Rainbow Neos. Like, which is kind of annoying. I mean, now on one hand, like, I do get it. Like, the third effect is annoying, Neos Fusion makes it too easy to summon, and it does provide a layer of protection from destruction. And yeah, I can understand how annoying that is, but it's not even that hard to overcome. You just bait out the layer of protection Neos Fusion gives, and then destroy Rainbow Neos another way, or kaiju it, or just get rid of him with an effect that doesn't destroy. Like, again, it's just really not that hard. I mean, can we at least agree that he's a lot easier to deal with than a negate or something that's unaffected by card effects? And yeah, I can understand that the third effect is annoying, like just ruining a graveyard strategy, but you can easily use what's in your hand or on your field to just set the graveyard back up again. Um, Again, he's really not that hard to deal with, and again, like, I'm not even doing anything to stop you from being able to play. Um, uh, uh, Even one person, like, who hates Rainbow Neos even said that he should be errated so that he can't attack if he uses any of his effects, like, purely because Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon has the drawback of not being able to attack if it pops something. Just, why? Like, what are you even saying? That you want one of the most iconic GX monsters to be a bad card, or something that doesn't appeal to anyone and no one will want to play? Like, the reason why Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon has that drawback of not being able to attack is because he has his own immunities of not being able to be targeted or destroyed by opponents' card effects. Right? They had to balance him out somehow. Meanwhile, Rainbow Neos doesn't even have any immunities of any kind, and no Neos fusion does not count. Like, I'm talking specifically about inherent immunities. And don't forget, I have to actually give something up to send something back the opponent has. Like, I have to give up one of my own monsters to spin the opponent's monsters. I have to give up a back row to spin the opponent's back row. I have to give up the top card of my deck to spin the opponent's graveyard back. And I have no control over what I'm milling. Like, it could even be something that I don't want to mill, like Regeki, Miracle Fusion, Twin Twisters, Favourite Contact, and that could even hurt me in the long run. So that's what balances Rainbow Neos out. And then there's the fact that some will even go as far as using cards to just outright kill my Rainbow Neos deck, like using certain cards that mill him out the extra deck. I mean, again, like, while I do kind of understand the Rainbow Neos hate, at the same time, I think it's just unfair and unjustified. I mean, both Dark Magician and Rainbow Neos are two of my favourite and signature decks. Like, of all the decks out there to hate on, why the hell are two of my favourite and signature decks getting hate? Like, I don't get it. Like, I can list over 60 decks that are so much worse than anything that Dark Magician and Rainbow Neos does. Like, I mean, like I keep saying, like, I'm not even doing anything to stop you from being able to play the game. I mean, I'm just saying, like, so yeah, that is it for this list. Hope this was enjoyable and insightful. And yeah, that's all I got. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the Richician YouTube channel.